evening, everyone. Glad to see you all. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? The flag is held
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Following our recommendations have been identified for approval as part of the consent agenda for this meeting. The board member wishes to remove any items from this agenda for further discussion. Prior to taking action, please let either the superintendent or the president know.
Did you want to add a resolution for the
Do you want to add the resolution for the calendar? Okay. Then we'll have some discussion at that time. Any other? Resolved that the Buckeye Board of Education approved consent agenda for November 29th, 2016 as presented. Would like to make a motion?
I so move.
Is there a second? Second. Discussion. That calendar is on there for discussion.
superintendent's information?
Okay. No other discussion? Roll call, please.
Copeland,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Manson,
Yes.
Vasselli,
Yes.
Barker.
Yes. Public participation. Public is invited to speak to any of the agenda items or other school topics at this time. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Direct questions will not be answered by the Board of Education member at this time. However, answers will be given at a later date as appropriate. Would anyone like to speak tonight? And all jump at once. Okay. You're up.
Have some personnel recommendations here under item A, class 5 personnel. Result the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following personnel items as presented. Number 1, revised contract. Result the Buckeye Board of Education approve the revised contract for Judy Evelyn, Support Services Secretary, to reflect an additional 1.5 hours per workday, effective November 30th, 2016. This will revise Ms. Evelyn's contract from 6.5 hours per day to 8 hours per day. Number 2 is employment. Resolve the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire Kim Moskal as an elementary special needs paraprofessional, effective November 30th, 2016. Ms. Moskal will work 5.5 hours per day with a probationary 45-day contract with pay at step 8 of the OC negotiated agreement. Item 3 is a resignation. Resolve the Buckeye Board of Education accept the resignation of Sue Craig as Athletic Board Office Secretary at Buckeye Local Schools effective February 10th, 2017 for the purpose of retirement. Item 4, employment. Resolve the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire Nicole Shear as the Buckeye Elementary School Playground Cafeteria Paraprofessional effective November 30th, 2016. Ms. Shear will work 3.0 hours per day with a probationary 1-year contract and will pay step 1 of the OC negotiated agreement. Resignation. Resolve the Buckeye Board of Education accept the resignation of Kristen Porto, high school cook, effective December 23rd, 2016. And number 6, employment. Resolve the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire April Johnson as a substitute bus driver, effective November 30th, 2016. Employment. Resolve the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire Keith Pesto as a substitute mechanic, effective November 30th, 2016. And before I hand off to you, let's just go back and recognize Sue with her retirement. Just want to congratulate her and all the years of service that she provided to the Buckeye community. Just want to thank her for that. Yes, I would. Thank you. Supplemental contract approval, resolved that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following supplemental contracts pending certifications as well as resignations. Effective for the 2016-17 school year as listed, it was resolved by the Buckeye Board of Education. The board has offered the positions to those employees in the district who are licensed and no such employee qualified to fill the position has accepted it. In addition, since no other qualified and licensed individuals applied pursuant to ORC 3313.53, the Board of Education approves the following supplemental contracts for a non-licensed individual. All supplemental contracts will be issued based on student union participation guidelines as presented.
Is there a motion to accept the superintendent's comments personnel items?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Casella.
Yes.
Mattson. Stahl.
Yes.
Dunkelman.
Yes.
Barfield.
Yes.
Informational items. First item is the Buckeye Local Schools proposed 2017-18 calendar, which is Appendix A. Let me go ahead and give a little information on that.
Yes.
So the starting time, we try and make that fairly consistent with the other county schools. This year has been a late adoption of the calendar, and there's been some differences this year as far as the start times. Right now, our calendar is starting on August 16th with our first student day. Our August 14th and 15th will be staff in-service days. The end of the school year then would be last day for students would be May 23rd, and the staff would be May 24th. The big difference, it's the same general starting time we had this year with our school calendar. The major difference, probably when you look at that, is we don't have quite as long a break over December as we have. Some of the things that we took into consideration was our contract requirements with the negotiated agreements. We also take into effect the ideas as far as we have interstate testing we have to provide our students at the end of the year. We're trying to get as many days of instruction prior to that. Other than that, it's pretty standard, I think, as far as the things that we take into consideration. We did have input from the BLDA as well as administrative input on the days and times. Obviously, there's a lot of different opinions, and we put together the best possible recommendation we can. Sure.
I know that the real desire is to have a common calendar throughout the county, which here we aren't even at the point of adopting this calendar tonight. We're going to put it off to our next meeting, it looks like. And that's one of the school districts. Pretty hard to get all school districts together, all the different groups and committees. Every district has their own committee, and getting them all together on the same schedule has become very challenging. I know that 10 years that I've been on the board, one of the first meetings I went to was a county meeting, that was one of the big things that was brought up. We got to get to a unified calendar throughout the county. That's kind of issue. Hopefully we can get it one of these days. Anyone else have any comments?
I think I was hearing from our superintendent that it's quite possible that a lot of the county schools will start on Monday, the 21st of August, rather than the early start date that we have. And I guess before I vote on this, I want to know where the other county schools are. If there's a possibility that most of us could be together, I think that's something we should look into.
I'd like to make sure that the career center, I know we got an email from one of our parents about the career center. I think we need to really try and get as close as possible to those days. So that we're all, especially if we're starting the 16th and the career center doesn't start the following Monday. That's for sure.
And we had talked collaboration too, with other school districts previously, and somebody was on teacher work days as well, where we could actually work with other districts on projects like that, so I think it's a tough one, but I don't think it's impossible. I would love to start looking at some things like that, how we can share those days and share costs. But what we do with the career center is a huge issue for our students, especially kids at Buckeye and kids at the career center. So at least like to get the start dates as close as possible.
I think all I'm saying is I'd like more information about where we fit with the county schools. And I was part of a collaborative a few years ago where we tried to get everybody starting on the same day and ending on the same day, and then maybe, the major vacations were similar. And I know it's not possible every year, but we got pretty darn close for a few years. And I think if I have more information, I'll be good with this. I just need more information.
Item B is superintendent special guests, and I'd like to acknowledge the good work that our levy committee put together for the successful passage this last month with our renewal emergency levy. And just wanted to thank you and have an appreciation here for you. So if you would come forward as I call your name out here, I would appreciate holding applause until you all come up. But we really appreciate your efforts on behalf of the Buckeye community and our students. Billy Conrad, Katie Rako, Sue Clady, Kelly Morlock, and Patty Stahl. Thank you very much, ladies.
Did any of you want to speak?
When's the next one?
Billy?
It just seems silly that we're recognized when we should thank all the people who work at CAS. And there are lots of people who got the word out besides us, so really applauding everything.
I'd like to thank you very much for the efforts that you put in, and all of the rest of the individuals who helped out in whatever way they did. I know that there was lots and lots of people involved. Thank you very much.
Ladies, it takes leaders, and we appreciate your leadership.
Okay, next on our items is administrator presentation. We have our athletic director, Glenn Reisner, here to share with us the many successes of our fall athletic teams.
I'll stand right here and
No, you're gonna go up there.
We had a great season this year, good attendance, kids are probably the best in the world. For our cheering section, our student section this year was just unbelievable. They behaved themselves pretty much, so good season from there. But this is a recap. I'm going to start right off. We're going to start with the football team. Football team was first in their conference. They made the regional semifinals, and unfortunately we went home again. Sad. They went 5-0 in the conference, so that was very good. So some of the achievement these kids made. We had 12 kids who were had 4-year learning clearance. Michael Durkee was the MVP for the school. Dustin McCullough, Iron Antler. Hunter Gray was the Golden Buck winner. Conference-wise, we did have 10 kids there. Let me rephrase that, 7 kids there, which consisted of a lot of first starters there. Most of them were seniors, except for a couple. Second team, we brought in 5 over there, or 6. And I will mention Michael Durkee again made the conference MVP. And Coach Manzoni was the conference MVP. District-wide, we had 3 of them that made first team district, which was great, and 3 kids who made honorable mention. And one I just had the other day we found out was Hunter Gray made honorable mention for the academic team. So, and I just don't have anybody from the executive, so I had to do that one. Next, our volleyball team took second place in the conference. They won 86 in conference. They had a losing season overall, but they did quite well in our conference play. But they played very tough teams. Molly Galcheski was the MVP for the school. First team conference was Elena Beck and Molly Galcheski. And Carl Gibson was second team, and Katie Lyons was third team. Girls soccer, what can I say? Girls soccer, first place conference again. They went 9-0 in the conference, 15-3-0 for the season. Fun team to watch. We got 5 girls who made 4-year letter winners. We lost 4 good players. MVP was chaired by Alexa Thomas and Olivia Hartley. Conference-wise, they have 3 there, 2 on the second team. And Sophie Barnes was the conference MVP. District-wide, Sophie Barnes was first team, and Gabby Glancy was second team, and Fallon Joyce was honorable mention. And like I said, the 2 second team and honorable mentions are sophomores this year, so we're going to have to play a lot. Boys soccer, second place in conference. They won 5-2-2, 10-4-2 for the season. Elijah Kupets was a 4-year winner. The MVP for the team was Zach Riddler, and all of the MVPs have been voted by the team players. Conference-wise, we had 3 there, 3 in the second team, 1 honorable mention. District awards went to Kyle Havermore. Second team was Shay Joyce. Honorable mention was Connor Clark. Girls cross country, the first place in conference. MVP for the girls was Holly Porter. First team conference is Holly Porter and Brooke Fox. Honorable mention is Faith and Lydia Healy. And we have another coach that was the MVP. Boys soccer or cross country took second place conference. The MVP for the school was John Frost. Conference second team was Grady Vickers, John Frost, and Ray Meyer. I will mention Shook Shield. And yes, we have a golf team. That was all our golfers this year, guys. 4. But they did quite well. They came in third, I didn't write that in there, they came in third in the conference. First team was Connor Thomas and Chase Capella. And Tony Milano was the second team. So I was really happy. The next article that we're showing you is really unbelievable. This is exciting. Academic achievements. Football. We have Mickey LaRich was the top grade point average. We have 32 TAC scholars. The TAC scholar is going to have 3.5 or better and receive a varsity letter. The average team average grade point average, not including the 7 students who are going to college, is 3.235. Volleyball, top scholar, Elena Keelan, 11 TAC scholars. The average GPA is 3.802, and 40 of those kids are taking college courses. Girls soccer. Natalie Bartlett, 25 top scholars. They have tagged the whole team. Their average is 3.864, and 6 of those kids are at college course, boys soccer, again, Jack Waters, 23 PAC scholars, 3.489 is the GPA, student taking college courses as well. Cross country, there was a tie, so I did two blacks for them. Rick Book Thoughts, Flex Meyer, and the boys was Alex Demazon. They have 16 PAC scholars, 5 students taking college courses, with 3.912. So that's the most important part, and I got to give credit to our teaching staff for what they do for our kids. And it just shows that the kids, play ball, also studying the books, so we have a great curriculum. High school totals participation was 228. PAC scholars were 107. The average GPA for all the teams is 3.66. There's 41 of the students taking college classes, and their overall record is 45, 22, and 2. And I have to go down and get the junior high. Participation is 107. For football, they're 8-0, and they only allowed 8 points for those students. That's the junior high record. The 8th graders went 5-2-1. Volleyball 7th graders had a tough year. They're going 19. And the 8th graders went 15-5. Cross country girls took second place in the PAC conference, and the boys took third. So we had a very good season. The coaches did a great job with the kids. And what can I say? They showed how good they are.
Yeah, that's impressive with their success on the fields as well as in the classroom. That's very impressive. I'm very impressed with that. I know when we were talking about the promoting the levy too, you had shared information regarding how many students we've had over the last 4 years since the last levy passage in 2012. And I was impressed at how we've grown our participation numbers each year, and our success has continued to be pretty consistent.
Well, very well with what we are paying for kids participation. How many kids are coming out? We keep gaining kids every year, which is great. And our coaches are great. We're also looking at having an A&D JV soccer team next year, and the kids are coming out. So it's impressive. Very impressive.
We have kids that are committed in the classroom as well as in their athletic endeavor, and that's always a
Good to have.
double win.
Good to have.
Thank you for sharing that.
You bet. Thank you.
Glenn, thank you for coming. I'd like to, if you could, like to see more. I'd like to see you like at the end of every session, if you can, just give us the same things. I'd also like something on band. I consider band just the same as we're getting paid to play also. So maybe we could decorate and what the band did. We had a parent last meeting that asked about the baseball. Do you have any updates on baseball, what we're doing with baseball fields, anything like that that you can share with us?
So we're working on that right now. We met with the baseball teams, Mr. Tudor and I did, and I think we resolved all their problems that they're looking at. I'm right now getting quotes for fixing the field up right now for the field that's out there right now. So I met with Todd Beeson today, or Jack, and I'm waiting for him to come back and give me his scenario for what we should do to help that field. But
That's the front field?
it's in the works right now.
That's the front field. We doing anything with softball?
Softball is just going to meet that condition. I think that's bad shape. That's not bad shape at all.
Okay, I just wondered. But with baseball, we're going to replace the fence. Is that what is in the works?
We're working with repairing, I think we're repairing that fence till we find out which way we're going to move on that. I think people working with facilities will have a proposal to bring to us, but I think we're working on stuff like that. But it's all in the works.
Okay, thank you.
I would say it's summary of the meeting was, I'm not sure the facilities presentation as well, as kind of the short-term versus long run needs of the baseball plant. Baseball plant is in pretty bad shape. So we kind of talked about maybe some long-term plans we can share or some possibilities of what needs to be done just by the start of the spring season to make sure that our kids are safe, that it's a positive reflection of Buckeye. As we know, that's kind of the first thing a lot of people see. And so it's a really good conversation with the parents. I really appreciate it. Partly it was interesting to hear their thoughts, but also, they've been doing a lot with it for years and kind of just make it work. And so I think it's pretty positive. Our hope would be that my expectation would be that within 2 years we have our next board meeting, we can bring to you specific numbers and possibly some, basically start the process to get those things done. We're kind of working through that, getting a lot of within 2 weeks of our expectations to have that, because we want that done when we start the season.
So the next section here is our strategic plan, and I want to give a couple disclaimers ahead of time here. First of all, it's not a finished product. It is an informal presentation, so at any time, please ask questions for clarification. I did give you a sheet there for each of the different areas of our strategic plan that kind of gives you an overview from a different perspective that might be able to make add notes or questions on there. I'm very much impressed in talking with, I sat in a couple of different committees in regards to the ideas they're coming up with, just the focus on moving us for the next 5 years as a district in these areas. And I'm excited to hear your feedback and your input to this as well. This is not, there's a number of things that I noticed that were maybe repeated, and that's fine because we're in the brainstorming phase. We're not at a commitment phase of who's going to be doing what. Some of the groups have moved into maybe identifying some timelines, and that's fine. That was not an expectation for us to all be at that place. We have planned on presenting again in the spring, and it's going to be much more of a unified presentation. But this is really just to say, here's our work. Here's the things that we feel we want to be focusing on for the Buckeye community in the next 5 years. And before we get farther invested in that with time, as well as doing some more investigations of some things, we want to make sure that we're heading in the right direction and there are not some other areas we should also encompass. Does that make sense? So we'll start off with the Finance Committee.
Well, the Finance Committee is part of the Financial Advisory Committee, and we had 3 strategies from ours. The first one was to develop and implement strategies for revenue sources. And we are very thankful to our residents of Buckeye for passage of the 7.6 mil 10-year renewal, which was a reduction in millage due to the increased valuation. And we increased the time limit for stability. Ongoing, there will always be, we'll always have to address levy concerns in the future. It will be ongoing due to state cuts or new initiatives for our students, or new federal and state mandates, or increased services to our students. And the next part of the increasing revenue is we have grants, Ohio Local Development Grant, which is a lean grant. We are working on a couple of grants through the Bureau of Workers' Compensation for safety. And again, there's always the Buckeye Education Foundation, which our teachers apply for grants throughout the year and are awarded them. Ongoing, there's federal grants, and again, the Buckeye Foundation grants, and then we will apply and look for other local, federal, and state grants. The second strategy was to be transparent, and to communicate our finances to the community. We've put all budgetary checks on with our agenda on the website. We have also any attachments to the board agenda that the board has been asked to approve are available on the website. All contracts that are being proposed to the board to approve, we've put on the website, on the Buckeye website. We are also part of the Ohio checkbook that we publish all of our expenditures monthly, statewide. The other issue that we're doing is we're going to contracting with Bluefish Systems to establish some additional controls. For them, they will help us to look at core data quality, conflict of interest, or possible fraud potential. The last piece is the continuing to strengthen partnerships with the local businesses and organizations. We've worked with businesses in our industrial park. Example is MTD. They helped with our grass cutting and have helped us with equipment that we needed. Sandridge Foods has donated food to us and helped us with some food service equipment. Local businesses, we want our students to be prepared for future employment, to keep them local, and we're working with the local businesses to establish some sort of commitments to employ our students. The other partnerships that we work with is Ohio Schools Council. We have a gas consortium to help to heat our buildings, electricity with Power 4, media purchases, technology purchases, milk and bread purchases. Those are ongoing and they've been accomplished. We already have contracts with them. We're also looking at sharing equipment and sharing knowledge and group purchasing with other school districts and the townships or close government entities to us. Finances are never completely accomplished. There will always be ongoing. We want to be financially responsible to our taxpayers as well as providing the best education possible to our students.
One thing I did want to mention, I brought up a couple of businesses just as a, for instance, what goes on. There are also businesses that have hosted our students and trying to allow them to get some knowledge of industrial processes and things of that nature, which that to me is, those two that you mentioned there were very good, but those kind of things I think are
And I
really,
guess that's what I was
really
trying to bring up, that it was ongoing. And this will be brought up also in another reason.
Anybody else have a question or comment? Our next presentation is the student wellness.
We're the Student Wellness Committee. I'm Nancy Hima.
Yeah, Loser?
Julie Sich. And we are here to describe what we're doing right now with student wellness. We want our students to love themselves and they live a healthy lifestyle. That's our goal.
The first goal is in the area of creating opportunities for health and wellness along all of the lines, athletic teams, community, and heightening activity levels to enhance wellness. So thoughts along those lines would be to come up with a way to sponsor students or a student on the pay-to-play fees through either a grant possibility or scholarship of some kind. More information booth events at like Buckeye Day or the Run with the Bucks event. And that's something that we would like to make bigger. Jump Rope for Heart, possibly expanding with this program. There's a couple of other ideas, checking into Fitbit incentives for people that work in the district. And then there is a program called Fuel Up to Play 60 for K-12 schools, and we're going to look into it further, but lets districts talk amongst themselves and come up and share ideas for things that work and things that haven't worked, and possibly it would kind of go with that idea of working within the county together with other districts on this initiative of health and wellness.
Goal 2. We don't just want to physically help the kids, we also want to look at the environment. We want to create a caring environment that provides and continues support for staff, students, and families dealing with social and emotional health issues. So mental health is also a piece of this. Right now, we're very fortunate to have Ron Blue through Alternative Paths, and we would like to continue that. This is the end of his grant period. So I've met with him and we're working a little bit with him to see how we can keep him for another year if we do not get another United Way grant for that. And to continue to keep him. It's been extremely helpful in the districts. Also to continue, and I put it there, that improved the referral system for him. We're also working, I've been working a little bit with Ron and with Gail Telford on those aspects of how to get that system in place so that we know what kids need the help when. We also want to stay connected to the community and the county connections such as Family First, ICAT, Big Brothers Big Sisters programs, and there's many more that I could name along with that. And we want to continue to promote the program at Mount Zion Church with donate supplies to those that are in need.
Goal 3 is Buckeye Local Schools will open communication with the community regarding health choices for our families. We're going to post on our Buckeye Local School District Facebook page information with healthy hints and information for our families. We're going to promote the Run for the Bucks event in May 2017, continue with Red Ribbon Week on May 2018, and continue with our DARE program.
Goal 4 is to enhance the well-being of staff and students through consistent training, evaluation, and implementation of district safety policies and procedures. Some of this is ongoing that we already do within the district. CPR, the drills that we do, yearly medical plan reviews, the nursing service piece, and then possibly CPR training for 8th and 12th graders.
9th, I will change that because I just read the law this week, so it's actually more going to be, they will allow us to do it 1 year with 8th graders, but it's going to be the 9th through 12th.
And then safety time continuing, and then create new policy to keep hard copies of student, staff emergency information at the board office.
And goal 5 is consistently educate staff, students, and families regarding nutrition and how it relates to the health and wellness policies and plans. We're going to post monthly nutrition facts again on the Buckeye Local School Facebook page. We will provide healthy recipes on the Facebook page. We've already created a greenhouse, but we hope to expand that on the Buckeye campus and check into the possibility of getting more grants for to expand the program that Anita Barnhart has already started. Check into possibly having local farmers donating healthy foods for our sampling, because we do a sampling once a month. Continue to offer flu shots to our staff, and continue to provide orange bags to the students that are in need, feeding Medina County. And I have to tell you that I did have an opportunity to go on one of those trips to pick up the bags and deliver them, and it was a very, very well thought out process. It's going very well, and I can't believe the participation that we're having with it. It's really going well. So we want to grow it even bigger.
Those are our goals for the future, but these are not limited. Please remember that they will change and they can be added to. These two have already planned something that's going on right now with the kids. They're talking about doing some connections with that already with the food service. Thank you.
Would you mind opening the door here?
Any questions, comments?
We decided, why not come close to you guys and share our presence with you. I am Dan Flood, and amongst our team with us here this evening, Vicki Calvin is on our team. We're here representing the community engagement piece of it. We have Terry Wilsack, we have Vicki Ludwig, and Rich Finley, and we've met many times, and some of the goals that we've been able to come up with, one of the biggest things that we've really been challenged with for the community engagement piece of it is to tie our school with obviously our families and our businesses, our nonprofit entities, as well as any of the alumni, and really create that alumni piece, but to bring everybody together and to highlight many of the great achievements that we've had here going on at Buckeye and will continue to have going on here at Buckeye. One of the ways that we want to do that, one of the biggest goals that we have is through the communication piece of it. We want to make sure that we're continuing to communicate with all of the pieces that we just laid out before. We feel that obviously if we're communicating to and from, and we have that workflow going back and forth with them, that everybody is on the same page and everybody understands that we're all in this together, and we're going to do everything that we possibly can to continue that part of it. The next step that when we talked in our group that we felt was a big piece of this was to possibly redesign our website to make it a little bit more user-friendly, increasing the ease and use of emphasis and student learning for achievement, and then continue to build social media presence, whether that be through apps or Facebook or whatever, but again, we're going to continue that social media piece. The next thing that we're going to try and work on in that goal part of it would be to solicit and combine articles to get all of the, again, information out to everybody and anybody that we possibly can. We're going to try and do that through a newsletter. Many of us probably remember one of the things that we had done in the past was the Buckeye Pride newsletter. So kind of reestablishing and recommunicating with that piece and that tool. And then the last thing under the communication piece that we want to do is we want to design a form and place it on our website to solicit community and family feedback. We believe that obviously feedback is a big piece to this. One of the things that we're challenging all of our educators to do is to give feedback to our kids. And obviously we want to have that feedback for our district and make sure that we're always trying to do everything that we possibly can and really establish that communication piece of it.
Hi, our next goal is on community service, and we want to increase student community involvement through service projects to allow students to learn through service and for the community to benefit mutually. So the way that we're going to do that is, our first is to provide biannual opportunities for students to travel off campus to volunteer with local organizations. A lot of these we already currently do, like feeding Medina County or through the Community Service Center. We're also involved in numerous other community projects, such as Fruits for Kids, the peanut butter drive that we did last year, Help for Needy Families with the Salvation Army. Currently, we're working with, I work with the high school, junior high, and our media counselors, coordinating our efforts to help needy Buckeye families during the holiday season. So we want to, of course, continue some of the things that we're already doing and also start implementing some new community service things for our students. And then lastly, with all the changes, also with requirements for graduation, we want to make sure that there's a way for our kids to log their volunteer hours so that they're able to get credit for that. So we would want to provide that for our junior high and our high school kids, a way to officially log those hours.
The next goal is goal 3, businesses. We would like to build an increase of working and mutually supportive relationship between schools and community businesses to benefit both students and our local business economy. We feel like we have a really good resource here with our local businesses, and in turn we believe our local businesses have a good resource here with our school district and students, and we think it's kind of a chance for them to be able to have a built-in workforce, perhaps, to fill positions, and then in turn we have some local businesses that can help us out in the long run. Our next steps will be to form a local business communication network, which will notify businesses and organizations if a need arises in the schools. Businesses can offer assistance if they can, and recognize members of our network through our social media, newsletters, articles, etc. And then our next step would be to establish a biennial job fair for 10th through 12th graders, for businesses to highlight their companies, and for students to investigate job opportunities in our very own community. So it's just a nice way to kind of connect our businesses with our students in our school district. Next slide.
all the things. I'm Carrie Hosek. I'm a teacher at the junior high. I am also a parent of in the district, and I also happen to be an alumna. So all of those things tie together for me, and I guess why I'm on this committee. And they told me you're working on the alumni piece. And what we talk about a lot here is relationship, how we're building relationships between the school and all of our entities in the community. If we have those things, we have those positive relationships, then we know we have something good for our students, and we can really accentuate student learning. So we talked about network with our businesses. I think it would be important to establish a network with our alumni. I know we have several different alumni networks that do work here, but it's not necessarily something that we can send out needs to our alumni to say, hey, the students are doing this. Is there some way you can help? And if we get our alumni fired up about helping us, I think that would be a very positive thing. So if we develop this network, this database, this communication tool, there's no end to where this type of thing can go. So one of the ways that we can do that is by inviting the alumni back into the district. And Glenn was just talking about how those things, our sports community can be very positive and is an easy place for us to connect with our alumni. To maybe to say, come back to a game designated specifically to be for alumni, and then make it all about them. A little bit different from homecoming, maybe a varsity game in every season. Say, let's this be about you, let's do a drawing, let's have a giveaway, let's build our network that way by asking them to share their information and being a part of that network. So we think that this would be very positive to build relationships with all of these things, between our families, between our businesses, between our nonprofits, and between our alumni, to get people fired up about helping us and how we help each other to help students in our district. This is, we have more details. That was kind of just the general, but if you want some of more details, we have them right here in paper format for you to see it too. So thank you.
Any questions, comments? An easy crowd tonight. Is there anything that you have to ask so far while we're presenting? Any ideas, suggestions? You can always email us. You can always talk to us. Our next group is the School Spirit and Pride. Denise, I know you're being, oh, good, okay. Yes, Bill.
I do.
Okay.
Well, I was not supposed to be presenting this. No, I'm going to be surprised with everybody else. The Spirit of Pride kind of encompasses several things. So I'm just going to talk about pride and unity. So the first idea is develop activities to encourage unity. So I can already tell some of our ideas are overlapping. Right. Carrie, were you listening to our meeting? No, but okay, so teachers or staff will receive an away jersey or some other kind of shirt. Jerseys doesn't work. We haven't worked that quite out yet. Basically, the idea is a current student, say a football player, would honor a staff member or a teacher by asking them, will you wear my jersey this week? So the teacher or the staff would just have that honor for that student's member or jersey or t-shirt for that game. This could also be other people too. We have veterans, retired teachers, or alumni who get the golden ticket if we pass the games, and then also when we recognize the game, which is just what Carrie was saying. But the idea being that just to honor our teachers who are retired, please come back, and in fact, when you have to take the game, we're going to give you this free pass. And then for students, we see the class t-shirt every year, starting in kindergarten to senior year. Obviously, they would get larger shirts as they grew. But just to have pride in, this is the year I'm going to graduate, this is who we are, we're the class of, whatever. And then maybe incorporating that pride acronym that has been part of Buckeye for a while, that you see right there. Putting all of this on the back of the t-shirt with your graduation year. And so it shows that we value graduation and a success. This is something to look forward to, and we are going to succeed. We are going to graduate. Other schools have started this. Seniors getting to paint their own parking spots. Again, just another way for the students to have ownership of this is my spot, this is my school, this is who I am for the senior. The idea of painting our fire hydrants around here orange, and for Buckeye, and deer tracks on local roads or just in the Buckeye parking lot and deer hooks. Parents can then buy specialized deer tracks for their athlete each year. Number 5, the senior class graduation picture among local businesses to thank the community for supporting the levy. So this is just, like Harry was speaking about, relationships, how our community and our businesses have a relationship with our students. And so people within our community can see that picture and realize, right, I'm paying taxes to the school and it's producing these fantastic people who are now going to go out and be our community. Have caps and gowns donated to businesses to display. So Unity, Buckeye School's pep rally, all the schools get together, the high school, the junior high, and elementary school. Band, have the band here, cheerleaders, Buckeye, the mascot. Have an end of the year celebration, again with all 3 schools. Bubble soccer was very popular after that basketball game. But basically bringing all 3 schools together. The young kids are going to look up to the older kids can mentor the younger kids, but having them all together. We have siblings, and even if you don't, it's just amazing too. 2, moving out of the football field. Again, just bringing everyone together, students, parents, community. We have a kids themed movie, and then maybe after that, a double feature team movie after that. And then the third one, honor or pledge card. So these would be, doesn't have to be just athletes, but the idea is something like a baseball style card that the seniors and the juniors would give to an elementary student. So it'd have their picture, and on the back would have just a short bio. We'd even have a pledge. We have our huddle leaders who pledge to be drug and alcohol free. So again, just establishing that relationship between elementary and high school, someone to look up to. And then a Buckeye School's picnic. Again, elementary, middle school, and high school. We did the clap out last year, it was really successful. I know it meant a lot to the teachers when the seniors came down and walked through, especially the elementary school, to see these kids that have succeeded. So have the graduates walk through all the schools, clap out to all 3 schools for the sports teams too, anybody who's going when we go to state, have them walk through. So again, the younger kids looking out to the older kids and then being the moms. And number 5, invite anyone from the community or even just Buckeye alumni to come and read to the students. We have special guest readers sometimes, like the superintendent might come in. So it's a way to honor our community by inviting them in and engaging them in the school when they might not otherwise be engaged in the school. And now, if there are no questions, I would turn it over to Nicole and talk about communication.
Thank you. I apologize ahead of time for my voice as I talk about communication. One of our big goals for our committee was creating a more unified communication system so the Buckeye community can be notified of the achievements, not just of our students, but our staff also. Part of this was already touched upon, was bringing back the Buckeye Pride newsletter. We actually have already in contact with the Post and talked to them about doing a quarterly newsletter that would go out to just the homes in our district that would provide information, again, not just about students, but about things that are coming up. If you have a student in the district, you know there's almost always some kind of fundraiser or event or something planned, and this would be a way to get into the community. We also talked about the Buckeye Hall of Fame and the Alumni Association. We were lucky last year. I coordinate the Buckeye local scholarships, and our alumni group was generous enough to donate $1,000 to a graduating senior. So hopefully that's something that can continue. But there are multiple alumni groups that don't maybe always communicate together. We're not always sure who's on, but this would be a more cohesive avenue. Ways to recruit and a social media presence. I am a Buckeye alumni. I can say Facebook is probably the only way that I know anyone from my class is even out there doing anything. So social media is a huge way to reach her. We talked about about bringing back on TV. Again, when I was here, we had a TV station in high school that broadcasted announcements in the morning. My graduation was also televised through Armstrong. My grandparents made me watch it multiple times. Choir concerts, to see myself sing, it's pretty perfect. But it's great to put that out there, not just for sports events, football games, basketball games, those are great. But we have musicals that maybe not everyone in the community can get to. Choir concerts, band concerts, performances that students put on, talent shows, anything that we can get out there so the community can see it. We'd also like to tie it into our high school class. We have a journalism class that puts out a newspaper. This would be another great avenue for them. And increasing our social media. It's huge. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Remind app. I am also the student council advisor. If it wasn't for Remind, I don't think we'd have students show up. They wouldn't know. We would like to link them all so that it's one. I know that our athletic department uses Twitter and Facebook, and anything they push on Twitter is also on Facebook. It's a great way to get things out there and make that more of a whole district-wide approach.
Hi, I'm Janice Kohler. I'm a parent, student, also an alum as well. And so I have worked with Mr. Stahl and Mr. Morgan talking about the Buckeye brand. So as we're looking at Buckeye, you know, we were talking about what has kind of stayed true for Buckeye over the course of time. I mean, 1952, high school, right? 1952. And some things have stayed. You know, some of our symbols have stayed, but some things have kind of changed. So the question becomes, what can we do to kind of build some consistency as we are looking K-12? One group had talked about building school pride. And when we think about that, if we don't have consistency for our elementary students, are they really recognizing that they too are a Buck? You know, so we need to be consistent with what we are doing to not just make sure that everything looks the same, but also to build that school pride instead of, okay, in this building that goes K3, this is what I identify with. Then I move to this building, this is what I identify with, and I keep changing what I identify with. We should be consistent in identifying ourselves in the same manner. So we had kind of collected a variety of symbols that are used throughout the district currently, and you see that we have different Buck designs, we have some different brown and orange. I mean, it's brown and orange, we're not getting rid of that, we can't. But what oranges are we going to use? What browns? Things like that. And what do we want our brand to say about us, so that when people say this is Buckeye, what do they think of? What comes to mind? So this is our plan for our next steps. How can we kind of build a brand? We don't feel that it should just be a small community or a committee of people making this decision. So our plan is to kind of come up with 3 logos using a Buck. And then identifying some of those bee designs. So, you know, like the band has used the same bee, which was on that previous slide, for a number of years. I know you're associated with the band. I mean, that's been, I graduated in 96. I mean, that's what it was when I was here, and I'm sure it was before that. So there are some things that we feel should not be altered. All right, if an organization has had something consistently that is identifiable, we're not going to tell them that they couldn't use it anymore. But kind of from this point forward, as we're looking at things, again, just trying to be consistent with what we do. So we would like to ask the community and our stakeholders for their input based on what we kind of narrow it down to. So we would like to somehow develop a survey that we would put out to the community, whether that be, you know, it sounded like maybe that was Mr. Finley's group that was talking about doing a survey through the website anyway for the community, getting some feedback. That's kind of what we want to do too. Asking people really what do they think of when they hear Buckeye. You know, asking community members, asking parents, asking even students. What do they think of when they think of Buckeye, and trying to help us build our brand that way. We'd also like to meet with some local companies that do the uniforms, spirit wear, even you know, for the teams that do athletic wear. You know, trying to have some sort of consistency, what is being used color-wise, so that there's some, I know sometimes people tend to use black, right? And I those are our colors, right? We're not black and orange, we're brown and orange. So we just need to be utilizing the same things. And so our goal would be to have a logo approved and ready to go for K-12 use for the next school year. So our plan is to have a survey in place to start in January, I believe, was our goal. And I know we're meeting next week after, okay, sometime in December, to kind of get together a survey that will be going out. So, questions? Thoughts? Okay, thank you.
I do want to recognize too, as part of our committee, Kim and John and Denise Kovarchuk are also part of our school spirit flag. Okay, academic?
Last, right? You're the last group?
No.
Nope.
I want to start by reiterating something that I said in May, and that was that we have awesome things happening in our academics in this district. So much so that my daughter is in first grade here, and I am just so proud that she is in this district because she is getting a fantastic education already. So I look forward to her going all the way through and seeing what's going to happen. So, Academic Achievement Committee, the first goal that we have is to establish comprehensive and relevant programming in the school district curriculum to maximize student learning. Some of the things that we are brainstorming right now, these are our priorities as of this time. Vertical and horizontal mapping basically just means making sure that K1, 2, all the way up, that we're in line. So we're not reteaching things, and we're constantly progressing our students' education. Horizontal mapping means that at a grade level, that teachers are on the same page, that we have the same philosophy on how we're teaching students. We have, as of this year, each of the buildings has some sort of built-in teacher time. So we have the Buckeye period at high school, we have team time at the junior high, and the IEP time, and we have encore at the elementary, which is, that is so exciting because that does not happen in the district. So that is something that Buckeye should be so proud of, that we figured out how to make that happen for our teachers. But we would like to see a constant focus towards using that time for curriculum and instruction. We talked about bringing up standards-based grading, which is what the primary currently does, and looking at bringing that to additional grades. And then we also have talked about all-day kindergarten, and I think where we sit right now, you're going to see this on two different goals. We kind of, same thing, I think we want to get some feedback from the community. I mean, yes, research says that it's a good thing, but students kind of balance out by third grade. So we want to see where do people sit with that in the community as far as meeting their priorities.
Okay, I have goal 2, which is, I'm sorry, my eyesight's terrible, I'm going to have to look over here. Thanks. To develop and implement a sequential integrated K-12 technology curriculum consisting of technology skills and using those skills as tools to research and solve real-world problems. So we are currently rolling out the first year of our 5-year tech plan with one-to-one devices in 7th grade. We are developing K-12 technology curriculum. The primary building, I believe, is finished. The intermediate building is close to being finished, and we're working on that. And we're focusing a lot of our professional development this year on integrating technology with a purpose. So we don't just do technology because we have it, but because it's serving a goal for instruction.
Goal 3. So we think it's important to focus on expanding the continuum of academic services K-12. But we have a particular focus through our CCIP and the OIP, Ohio Improvement Process, where we want to focus on our gifted students, economically disadvantaged students, and students with disabilities. So we've already started a lot of initiatives, cluster grouping and co-teaching and inclusion for special ed population and the gifted population. Continue to expand the cluster grouping for grades 3 through 12. We don't identify gifted until the end of 2nd grade. And gifted coding with integrity, making sure the students we identify as gifted are truly gifted. providing essential high-quality professional development to all appropriate teachers to provide effective interventions. And again, as Christina mentioned, looking at the all-day kindergarten.
And then our last two goals, we are still meeting, we're still hashing all of this out. So like I said, we've got some priorities right now, but we're still continuing conversations. So goal 4 was to create opportunities. This has been a theme, this creating opportunities to combine community and bring community resources into the district. So one of the things we've thrown out is the possibility of some sort of a volunteer coordinator to bring in mentors who would work with our at-risk students or at-risk of not graduating and really focus on building relationships with them and helping to get them through the issues that they may encounter trying to finish school. So that's goal 4. And goal 5 is preparing Buckeye students for global citizenship in a diverse, multicultural society. And part of the reason why some of these we haven't gotten many ideas yet for them is because we are trying to figure out what does this mean for Buckeye. So when we talk about global citizenship, what does that mean to Buckeye's community? Because that can be very different from another district. So trying to define these for us is where we're at right now.
And I'll pay you for those comments about first grade.
Okay.
Any questions, comments? Facilities.
I told Betty that would take a long time, so. Buckle in.
You said I could pick you up from the floor.
So, we did facilities, which was a very interesting topic, and led to some really good discussion. We had 2 board members on the committee, Mr. Madsen, Mr. Barco, Mr. Bob Tice, who was also in the committee along with Paul and I, and Jim Ty. And really had some good conversation, and really I think what we did was I kind of considered on the first page, we looked into the future and big picture, and then came back from small. I think the question that kind of continues to come up when people want to talk about when we talk facilities is a new building, right? I mean, maybe a new high school or just a new building, right? Well, at some point, buildings have to be created, but I think the kind of the summary that we kind of felt in our discussions were, you know what? Yes, there could be improvements to our curriculums that would make them, I mean, they're not perfect, but that we do have some quality here in our current infrastructure. We need to take care of that. At the same time, we can't forget about the long-term thoughts, processes, and planning that will be required to make any kind of significant change to our current infrastructure. So that's kind of how we kind of, bottom line is we'd love to, hey, we're going to put a school on the ballot next week and we start building in 2 months. But the reality is that is probably not where we're at, probably not where our community is at right now. So what can we do to be, to take good care of our current facilities, including probably even having to spend a little money on our current facilities. One of the things we're going to do that we're very excited about is we already have the Ohio Schools Facilities Commission coming in and do a needs assessment. That should be done by February, March of this coming year to give us a good idea of what they think our needs are. They'll look at things like our current buildings, they'll look at our demographics, they'll look at our expected enrollment, increases or decreases, and they'll kind of come up with, hey, here's the things that need to be considered. We're excited about that because that hopefully will give us a little bit more path of what's the future. At the same time, like we said, we're still going to continue to address some current things. So, talking about facility improvements, we kind of summarized these into the different major buildings that we have. For example, HVAC will continue to be a question that we have to discuss at all of our buildings. You think about it like this, at the high school, we've actually done a significant amount of improvement or repair to our HVAC system, so that almost the entire building has been updated in some capacity. Now, some of those updates happened so long ago, they're also starting to, that's the struggle with facilities, right? The middle school, we'll talk about that. Security, we as a group, I think, definitely felt that security needs to be one of our top priorities. And that we feel that we would recommend that the district consider, spending money and making an intentional effort to continue to improve our security. Buckeye's a great place, but you can't take that for granted ever. We do have some good security aspects in place, but there's definitely some areas that need improvement. Cameras are probably the most significant area throughout the district. The high school has very few, the middle school and elementaries have almost zero. So we really need to improve that. We need to make sure that our doors are secure, which, I mean, they are, but making sure what else can we do to make them any more secure. And so we are talking about that in all the buildings. Roofing is an area of concern. You can see that we currently, and probably are going to continue, at least until the board will make a different decision at some point when needed, to continue to kind of patch our current roof situation. At the high school, for example, if we actually decide, hey, we're going to put a new roof on, it's $400,000 estimate, right? So then you can see those are how the questions start to, the discussion starts to become a little bit more complex, and it was really a good conversation to have because, okay, do we spend that money? Okay, well, or do we not? We want to save money to make sure that whenever we need something new, we have it, but at the same time, we got to maintain it. And the reality is that what buildings are going to continue to be used for a long period of time. So those were things we talked about, which, again, we really probably have as many answers as we do thoughts and things for conversation in this first meeting, and I think that's kind of the point. It needs to create some good dialogue about those things, but that's kind of what we discussed. Technology, we want to continue to move into a one-to-one initiative, which is throughout the district, and how does that connect to facilities to make sure that we have the infrastructure network-wise to make sure that we can handle the devices. You may have heard of the word density before. You've got to make sure that you have appropriate density so that 400 kids can log on to a Chromebook at the same time. You know, and so that's something that we continue to address.
You're doing great.
Junior high. Junior high is probably the building that needs the most attention for areas that need addressed. And we are continuing to work through those. I think kind of what we summarized is, yes, the middle school is older, and there are parts of the building that needs to continue to be, upgraded. At the same time, it's not a 100-year-old building that has no quality of life left. And so we talked about, well, what do we need to do to make sure that the quality of life in our current junior high, in terms of the infrastructure stays. So we talked about things like, for example, if you don't know, there are rooms that don't have air conditioning, about 14 classrooms. We think that would be about $1.6 million to complete. I didn't realize how much some of these things were if you look at it, but it's just kind of the reality. Now, obviously, if we decide to do that, we get multiple quotes to make sure we get the best price. Those are estimates of what we would have to do. But a new roof as well. Again, we're patching it at this time, just like we are at the other buildings, but a new roof would be about $260,000 at some point. If that's something we need to consider, again, we don't have as many answers right now as we do good questions to discuss, and we want to make sure in the end, what we want to do is we'll make sure the community wants based on what people that do this all the time at the Ohio Schools Facilities Commission would recommend that we do in the long run. Security, like I said, they do need additional security down there. And we are recommending that for one of our first priorities at this time. It's really something that we think, and we are moving forward. We're talking to some companies and thinking about what we can do in that area, and I think that's a very good thing. Elementary school, I'd say I could summarize elementary school like this. It's a great building, and it is in pretty good shape, but it is 15 years old. And so it is getting to the point where naturally repairs are needed, right? And so I think the one thing that we summarized significantly is we want to make sure that we continue to maintain this building very well. Because, probably not knowing Buckeye well before I came here for employment and looking at coming to this elementary, this was an impressive building. And it is. It's a beautiful building. And we want to make sure that we continue to take good care of it. And that will include spending some money. For example, we pretty much have already decided we need to repair some masonry joints. It's natural work that has to continue to be done, but we need to do that this spring to continue to maintain the building. And security, I haven't talked about this. Benny's getting it.
Chris. Building improvements, the last thing is athletics. That is something that we continue to have to address and talk about as well. Again, it's our first priority, but we got to make sure that we put our students in a safe environment when they play sports. And also, I think that there's definitely, as I've heard a lot of other communities talk about, there's pride in that, and it's all part of that community. So what are some things that we feel like are definitely needed, as we kind of talked about earlier tonight? We are planning on repairing the baseball field to make it safe to play on and to be a better representation of Buckeye. That's going to happen before the spring. We think that will be $8,000 or less. It was really helpful to talk with the parents and kind of figure out, okay, what do we have to do now and what can wait? And the reason that we are talking about waiting is that we're in intro discussions of possibly considering moving the baseball field altogether. There's a chance someday, if we ever build a new building, that might be a good place for it. On top of that, the biggest reason that we would definitely say right now is softball, track, everything's out there. We've got a beautiful concession area out there. It's a safety benefit as well, as our athletic trainer would be on site at all times. So that is something that we would like to do. We have started even talk cost for that, and quotes, it's about $150,000. Here's the interesting part about that, is whether we build a quality baseball field in its current location, or we move it out back, it's about the same price, which partly is because the baseball field isn't such significant. So, the gymnasium, going to have to talk about that at some point. It's about $100,000 to replace. You can buff the gym floor multiple times, but every time you do, it gets closer to the nails. And we are near the stuff at this point. We are seeing nail heads. So we can't really buff, we can't really sand it down anymore. And so, we buff it regularly, we try to take good care of it, they mop it every day before they play, but in reality, someday that's going to have to be something we consider. And then, lastly, the stadium, from a positive, I think we really made some great improvements. It was pretty neat. I think that we have one of the best student sections, really fan sections in Northeast Ohio. It's pretty awesome to see us just literally fill the student section. I was wrong the first night. I just put the band up there, and I didn't have any room for the band, And so, which we may do, we made the band another location for that. But I look at that as that's a good problem to have, right? We got lots of kids at the field. We got to talk about what we want to do next. Technically, we've got other things to consider. We need to do restrooms and concession stand. Partly just a code for restrooms. The lights are getting older, and obviously everybody would love to discuss a turf field. We kind of are, our conversation right now is we would like to consider discussing fundraising, outside fundraising for some of this, maybe specifically turf. And the reason is because not that those other things aren't just as important, but the one thing to love about maybe considering the turf first is it's a direct impact on kids. Soccer gets to go out there all the time. People can play on that field from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock, right? And not that they won't enjoy the rest of it, but we would like to consider that. John, Kent, and I went to a presentation down at Capitol Conference on fundraising for a turf field, and I think got some good ideas. I think bottom line, we're starting some discussion there, trying to get a better plan in place. Because I think that's something we want to get moving on sooner than later, and we don't expect to wait for 10 years as we continue our sales tax money, and all of a sudden, that's not really what we want to do with it. So that's something we'll talk about more, I'm sure. And lastly, Litchfield. Litchfield is not used this year for the first time at all. Preschool did not continue out there. The good news is we actually are going to start using it again in a few weeks, as the baseball and softball teams are going to use it for practice. Basically, they can keep the cages up all year long and not having to figure out what they're doing with basketball and wrestling and all that. So that's a positive. The bottom line is it's a quality building. Every year that we're not in it, it decreases its value, and that's just natural when things are not used. We love and have tried to see if other people would be interested in it. The challenge is everybody likes the building, but it is kind of in a challenging location. So continuing to try to figure out what we can do there to get as much back on our investment, one way or another, whether we use it or we sell it or we rent it, trying to figure out what we can do to get the best we can. And we're transportation, we are building buses. We're not building buses, that'd be impressive. We bought 4 buses last year, and technically it's kind of like a lease purchase where we'll pay for one every year for 4 years. And that's something you gotta continue. You gotta continue to make sure that your buses don't break down and buses don't last forever. And they're about $80,000 to $100,000 a piece. And so we're also improving the security out there and on the bus itself as we're improving the camera system on the actual buses as well. And last is paving. Jim Ty would love us to make sure we have money for paving every year, and I understand why. It's because it's a continual maintenance issue. So we talked about, with things like paving and other things, trying to set aside money in your budget to plan ahead. I know that's easier said than done. It's the same as you do at home, right? Trying to think, okay, this summer, every year I've got to earmark this much for paving or whatever, and so that we can make sure that we do those things. So kind of that long-term planning for that as well. All right, I think that's it.
I think one thing I'd like to add is I have a pretty big passion about building security, and I just want to throw this out that John Gerard, our SRO who's in our district every day, also has that same passion. And when we go back to building security, we talk about cameras being put in buildings and hopefully adding a lot more cameras to the junior high, doubling what we have at the high school. Now, unfortunately, we kind of live in a society now where that's necessary. And that's sad, but it's necessary. So John has done an amazing job really working with, I know us specifically at the high school, but I know in other buildings as well, saying this would be a great place to put a camera. This is, we don't have one here, it should be here, just to make our kids safe. We want our kids to be able to come to school and walk through the doors and not have to worry about what's going to happen. So those cameras are really big for us. So I just wanted to say thanks to John for the work that he's doing on that as well.
One comment I would like to make is that anybody has a good use for the Litchfield building, educational use or other use, please come forward. Thank you.
That's all I have.
That's all you have. Any board comments? All right. Anyone have any board comments?
Well, I guess I would like to thank Superintendent Morgan for getting the strategic plan moving. And I am very excited with the reports that we heard tonight. So many wonderful ideas, and I know it'll take a lot of people to make all of those things happen, but certainly a wonderful start. A strategic plan should be a living, breathing document. And based on what you folks have said tonight, I think we're on our way. So I really appreciate it. I know it's not easy work. It's a lot of work, but thank you for your time.
Just want to reiterate to everyone that worked on these committees, thank you for your time and your efforts. It was nice to get started on this strategy.
It's not about that, everyone took the time to, out of the day, to work on this committee, we do appreciate it. And it's really exciting to see everything that we can do and that we will do. And thank you all for coming tonight.
Again, thank you everyone for your appreciate it.
And the one thing that really shocked me was the academic achievement of our athletes. That was amazing. Speaks well. Thank you all. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Ellis? Yes. Dunkelman?
Yes.
Yes. Hanson, Stahl,
Yes.
Barfield.
Yeah, thank you all for coming.